our last talk for this session is Eve Eisman, who is a research physical scientist at the Corps of Engineers Hydraulics Laboratory in Vicksburg. She is going to be talking about the Coastal University Guide, which is a great tool I wish I had when I was looking for schools. Eve? You're on mute, Eve.
Thank you. Can you see my slides correctly?
Yes, you're good to go.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for listening into this final presentation here. And today I'll be talking about a really exciting new tool that I've developed with help from lots of other students and new professionals in the Students and New Professionals Committee, including Taylor Zimmerman, who's the co-chair, along with myself. In addition, Nicole Elko and Derek Brockbank have been very instrumental in helping out with creating this guide as well. So the ASBPA has come together to develop this interactive web tool, which is designed to introduce high school and college students who are potentially interested in science and engineering to opportunities that exist in the coastal field. So in this talk, I'll go over how the guide was developed, how it is being shared with the public, and how it is being maintained. And then I will also provide a little bit of a walkthrough in the second half of the presentation. So to just, begin the conversation, why is it that we need a Coastal Universities Guide? And I think that, most of the listeners here already know that coastal science and engineering is very important, but coastal careers and opportunities in academia are, relatively unadvertised in, academic communities and in high schools. And, there's a relatively low awareness of opportunities like this. And so the goal here is to develop a guide and to bring that, bring coastal engineering and science up to the level of other well-known STEM careers in terms of student awareness and university recruitment. So the idea was developed originally over time. We discussed what it is that we wanted to accomplish and how we might be able to do that, and decided that the ASBPA is a great organization to take the lead on this, as they represent, America's beaches and coastlines, and we decided to step up and try to make it happen. So we knew we wanted to create some type of resource or tool that could help bring coastal science and engineering to the forefront, and would also include information about individual programs and departments at a variety of universities, and what degrees they offered and what areas of study those degrees were in. So the first conceptual design that you can see here was created in Prezi format by Mariah McBride, who helped a ton with this. And as we began kind of researching programs and trying to add to the database, we realized that the Prezi platform wasn't really going to be the best for all of this data. It would just be too labor intensive to keep an interactive slide for each program updated. And so we talked about different options, and over the course of a ton of student and new professional monthly calls, and with collaboration from Mariah, we decided that we would move more towards an online web map in the ArcGIS platform. And so this would allow us to really easily add new features and data sets. So we discussed what types of information needed to be in each entry at that point. And so, of course, we can't have too much information because it has to be consistent across all of the universities. We're planning on having, hundreds and hundreds listed on here potentially, and already do. And so it needs to be consistent, but each piece of information needs to be really meaningful to help a student narrow down their search and find the right pieces of information, but not too much. And so we ended up settling on a very short list of data, which would be, of course, the university name, the department and program name. You can see an example of an entry here for one university with 2 programs. So there's an individual entry for each program within the university. We selected a short list of keywords, which was really tough to narrow down, but we wanted to make sure that students would be able to find programs of interest without knowing all of the terminology, so we chose 5 very, simple keywords, including geology, environment, engineering, policy, and oceanography. And so most programs are associated with more than one of those keywords, so you're not expected to narrow it down to only one. But this helps with a number of widgets that we've built into the tool so that you can kind of toggle on and off the different larger topics. In addition to that, there's of course the state information so that it's easier to search for, and a link to the program or department. So if you do want more information, you can follow that link and access additional information for those individual departments. So after we finalized all these details, got the web map up and running, we were able to release the Coastal Universities Guide publicly. We provided a press release, and the ASBPA created a special web page showing the release, as well as a special landing page that holds the Coastal Universities Guide interactive map, provides a little bit more information about it, etc. And the release webpage includes this really awesome promotional video that Mariah McBride did. And I provided the links to both of these pages there. So I encourage you to check it out and watch the video. It's really awesome. Just geared towards people or students interested in science, but maybe who don't understand how important and relevant coastal science is right now. And so the current state of the guide is that we have more than 150 programs, and it's growing, all the time we get new entries. The programs cover a really wide range of coastal studies, with those primary classifying keywords being really important for helping students find what they're interested in. And so I'll show you some of the widgets that allow you to search through and sift through all of this information in an efficient way. And so this dedicated ASBPA webpage, which I again encourage you to visit, also includes a little bit of a how-to guide for looking through these programs and for how to work with the web map itself, which we thought was important because not everybody's familiar with the ARC online interactive web map platform, although it is really user-friendly. But we thought it would be great to just, make sure everybody has an opportunity to access this information easily. So for that, we used the Prezi platform and created this Introduction to Coastal Science and Engineering as a whole is included in there, as well as a guide to how to use the Coastal Universities Guide itself. And a link to that is also embedded in the webpage on ASBPA for the Coastal Universities Guide. For students who are completely new to coastal science and the web map format, this Prezi should cover everything that you want to know, including a snippet of it shown at the bottom there, which goes over, what are some things that coastal scientists study? What do they do? What are the main questions? Like, why is it important? That kind of a thing, to just sort of bring some inspiration to the student that might be looking at this guide. And then we go on to show how to access the guide and how to navigate it. In order to populate initially and maintain the updated information in the guide, we've created an interactive form where anybody who is looking at the guide can submit new information that they see is missing. And then we also have contact information if they have questions or if they think that something needs to be changed. And the main reason that we did this was because we did not want to maintain a big long list of points of contact for each university program. It would require updating the points of contact every year when, professors changed roles. And it would also require us to reach out to those contacts, yearly or quarterly, and read through responses and kind of transfer all that data into a format that could be uploaded. So instead of doing that, we went with this web page form that anybody can fill out, and it produces data in a really standardized format that's easily ingested into the web map. And so I've already updated it a number of times, and I'm sure we'll get a more streamlined method as the months and years go on with the Coastal Universities Guide. So I also encourage you to scroll down to the bottom of the ASBPA Coastal Universities Guide webpage, and if you see a program that's missing, go ahead and submit that information. So now I will take the last section of the talk to just show you what the Coastal Universities Guide looks like. I'm not going to hazard a live demo at this time, but the link is there and you can access it for yourself and walk through with me, or just check it out at any point when you get the chance. So the first thing that you see when you open the Coastal Universities Guide web app is this splash screen, which shows the ASBPA logo and discusses a little bit about what the guide is. And it also credits the ERDIC Coastal and Hydraulics Laboratory, which we are hosting it on. Once you close out of the splash screen, this is kind of the first view that you see. And if you go to the top right, you can view the legend, which shows that the points are color-coded by level of degree offered. So you can see that if a program offers both undergraduate and graduate degrees, it's green. Undergraduate degree only is light blue, and then only graduate degree is yellow. So there's quite a variety of program offerings so that you can, narrow down whether you're a high schooler looking for an undergraduate degree, you can only look at the blue and green dots, for example. If you go to the top left, you can open the Explore Coastal Universities widget, which allows you to toggle on and off these different keywords that we have defined. So say I'm interested in environmental programs and oceanography programs. You can toggle those two buttons and it will automatically zoom to the extent of remaining data points that fall into either of those categories. So it's not both, it's either, so that you can see all the options. And exploring through individual programs, you might want to zoom in and click on the button and click on each point, and then it'll of course pull up that page, the pane with all of that information. And another thing to mention is that you can just go to the top left search bar and type in pretty much anything and search it. And the drop down arrow to the left will allow you to select whether you want to search like basically all the Google Maps database, whatever it is, for places, locations, etc. Or you can just narrow it down to only Coastal Universities Guide information. So I gave the example of searching South Florida, and that gave us the two options of the University of South Florida, which have two programs there. Clicking on one of them, you can see the pane that comes up. And then if you just click on the more info link, it'll bring you right away to the web page for that particular program or lab. So with that, we have received a ton of positive feedback so far. Everybody's saying that they love it. And it's been visited more than 3,000 times already in the past year. So a lot of people are viewing it, and a lot of people are submitting new programs. So I encourage you to visit this link or email our Students and New Professionals Gmail if you have questions. And the takeaway, I guess, is whether you're in high school or in an undergraduate program and you're interested in coastal sciences and engineering, this guide will provide all the information that you need to help you find a degree program that fits all of your interests, maybe shows you new interests that you didn't know you had, and it also can help you narrow down within your preferred geographic location in the US. So again, check out the link, submit new programs, and email any questions if you have them. So with that, I'd like to thank all of the people that have helped out that didn't make the co-authors list. So that would be Mariah McBride, who helped make the first iteration and the cool video, Bianca Charbonneau, who contributed to the Prezi guide, and Ty Briggs, Dylan Sanderson, Amanda Treitinger, and Wendy Laurent, who helped gather the first list of programs that were included, which was a big push. So again, thank you.